This is my daughter's bedroom. Obviously, it needs some work. It's got some issues, but let me show you how I turned it into this. So we definitely had a few plans for this room. Firstly, we wanted to remove the ceiling because it was damaged. Then the next thing we wanted to do was remove the cornice that was in there and replace that with square set. Finally, removing the wardrobe that was in there and building something custom in. We also wanted to add a feature wall. So we added a feature wall which was VJ paneling and we painted that pink. All right, so here's where demo really starts to kind of kick off. As I said in the intro, we were gonna do some square set around here where we're gonna remove the cornices. It's really hard to get rid of these cornices, so that we actually ended up cutting them out. So I've just got my mate who's a handyman here to give us a hand. And here we're just getting up into the ceiling to get rid of this damaged panel.
All right, going to pull through.
So yeah, we just had to replace that main panel, and then in hindsight, I mean, it almost looks like we could have just replaced the entire ceiling, but we were just trying to save as much as we could and salvage as many sheets that were already attached in the ceiling as possible, rather than resheeting the entire roof and then still having to do the cornice, the square set cornice anyway. But yeah, it looks like a lot of work, and it was a lot of work at the time, but I think I'm glad we did it the way we did it, just purely because of how it was to work in around all these angles and stuff as well. It was a bit fiddly though, because we had to tape and mud each the wall and the ceiling, and then reset the entire corner with this angle bracket to set the square set. So that was a bit fiddly, but I think we got there in the end. Okay, so here you can see we've got the extra pieces of plaster up into the corner, and we're using this an aluminium angle bracket to go up into the corner to reinforce the square set. I'm not sure if this is how a plasterer would do this, but it seemed to be the way that worked for me. Second time I've done this now in this, so this is this room. I've done one other room slightly different to this. I think this way worked much better. I'd definitely be interested to know if you're a plasterer and you know a better way that this would work, but this seemed to work for the way we wanted to do it. And then, yeah, I'll explain how we've done the wardrobe. This is how it currently looks. We've had to basically build in from what was already there, the existing wardrobe. We built a frame for the wardrobe to sit on, and then we built into the sides so that this will be flush with the doors that sit on the outside, and then when you see through the gap,
you'll see just this MDF trim that we've painted white so that you won't see anything except white. This is actually the side of the cabinet, but that will be fixed to the frame. And so the whole thing will be built in, and then I'll have a drop piece of trim at the top there as well, so that the gap all the way around, there won't be any gap all the way through to the back. So that's the plan. I've got some wiring for the lights to come down through the top of the cabinets. Just waiting for this first coat of plaster to dry so that I can sand it all. I think there's some that needs to be redone, like the tape's bubbling here, so I've got to cut that out and reset that. And then, yeah, the plan will be that this whole wall here will be VJ, floor to ceiling. We're going with this color on the right, it's called Tiptoes. And yeah, see how we go. That's kind of like the first annoying bits of work that have been done.
So just doing the last bits of fit off for the VJ paneling, and I had an electrician come in and fit these GPOs at the right spot so that if we want to put a double bed in there in the future, or we want to reuse this room for a different purpose, then it still works for that. So had I had my time again, I would do this differently. I'd glue and brad nail or finish nail these on, which is, I just used nails here, and I did have some issues with stud alignments. So had my time again, I would do it differently for sure. But yeah, I think it turned out all right, and I've just got it masked off there so I could paint around the edge and tidy up some scuffs that I'd made when I was putting them in. But overall, they went quite well. I'm just painting the last bits of trim to go on, and we are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with the trim, because I've just kind of tacked it on for now, because we do want to replace all the floors throughout our house, and we want to do it all at the same time. So that's why you'll still see some nail holes and some gaps around where all the skirting boards go, because we will just be prying them off and redoing the floors when we do the floors. So here I'm just making some handles for the built-in wardrobe. My wife and I looked around for ages for the right types of handles that would fit the style of the room, which is kind of like this bright coastal, lots of timber, lots of light colors. So we couldn't find something that A, was the right price, and B, fit kind of the style of what we wanted. So I ended up just making my own. I just got some Tasmanian oak. Actually just bought it from Bunnings. It's just like a 42 by 19 piece of Tassie oak. Drilled some dowel holes and got some Tasmanian oak dowel, and then used that as like the connectors for the doors, and they actually worked really well. I've been making them a lot more actually, because I had these ones and in my son's room on the other side of the hall as well, and some other cabinets that we've got in the house. And so I listed them on Etsy and actually had a fair few people come and order some and had some good reviews. So yeah, they turned out really well. Okay. All right, so I did want to do a quick cost breakdown, because I haven't seen that many in Australia do a breakdown of exactly what it costs to do something like this, and thought I would have found this sort of thing helpful when I was researching exactly what to do and where to get everything and how to do everything. So yeah, I thought I'd give a quick breakdown on how much this all cost, and yeah, basically just how much this all cost. So all of the plaster, like the stuff that we put in the roof and around all the square set, was $83. The plaster angle trim, that stuff that reinforces the square set, that was $58. All the framing timber, so think what goes in the wardrobe and what went into all the blocking around the square set and everything like that, was $107. The plaster screws and tape was $20. Stud adhesive to go up underneath that was $21. Primer, $88. The feature wall paint was $61.90. The rest of the paint for the room was also $61.90. The VJ panels that go on here was $200, only because I had to buy two, and I had one left over from my son's room, which be another video that I can post. The lighting, or the LED downlights, was $16.50. The fan was quite expensive. It was $343.20. The PowerPoints and GPOs, $20. All the window coverings. Window coverings was one of the first things we did in this house, and it was because there was nothing else there before, or there was some old ratty Venetians. They were really expensive because they're shutters. They were $1,180, so $1,180. The wardrobe we got from IKEA on sale was $697. The door, we got a new door for the room, $47. The door handle was $100. The wardrobe handles that I made, just the timber for that, was $25. The door trim goes around that door over there, $10, $60. All the skirting was $130.90. Miscellaneous stuff like caulking, sandpaper, anything like that, I just put $50 because I went through probably a fair bit of it. The only labor that I did pay for was the electrician to move the GPOs, but I also got him to do a few things within the house, so I split the cost up amongst each of those rooms. So that was $150 for that. And the only other labor cost that I had was I paid my mate Jack, who is a handyman. You've seen the video. I paid him $500. He was here for the weekend, and we did a whole bunch of stuff, so it was really good value. Just stuff that I needed help with that was way easier to do with two people, like the roof panels of plaster. So the total comes to $3,974. I am on the Gold Coast in Brisbane, so I'm not sure whether that cost translates to the rest of Australia. I got most of my stuff from Bunnings, other than things like the fan and the shutters and the wardrobe and things like that. A lot of it was from Bunnings, if not like a few little bits and pieces from random suppliers here and there, like the door handles and stuff. But yeah, almost $4,000. I think I probably could have done it cheaper in some respects, but it's still not too bad considering where we ended up. So you could have definitely gone further, and it's definitely not as it's not super high end, but it's simple and it fits the purpose of what we need for our daughter's room. So yeah, hopefully that gives you an idea, if you're looking to do something similar, roughly how much it costs to do a lot of this sort of stuff yourself. Obviously, like I said, you can pare it way back and make it a lot cheaper. But this is kind of the level that my wife and I wanted to go for. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And yeah, thanks for watching.